Hey Liam, how's your day going? Let me ask you something. Have you ever understood absolutely everything in your English class, but then walked out into a busy city and suddenly had no idea what to say?
Hey, Emma! Oh, I've definitely been there. The very first time I visited a major city, I quickly realized classroom English could only take me so far. Ordering a simple coffee, asking for directions, or even having a casual chat felt completely different. But that's exactly what we're going to change today.
Wow, that sounds so incredibly familiar. I think that's exactly what happens to so many learners. They feel 100% confident while studying, but the moment they're surrounded by native speakers, everything suddenly feels 10 times harder. So, where do these real-world conversations usually begin?
They actually begin in the places you least expect. Most people imagine they'll need English for massive, deep conversations, but city life is really built on dozens of short interactions.
What exactly do you mean by short interactions?
Think about your average day. You walk into a coffee shop. You ask someone if a seat is available. You stop a stranger to ask for directions, or you buy something quick at a convenience store. None of those conversations last more than a minute, but together they make up your entire day.
I never really thought about it that way.
And that's precisely why many learners struggle. They prepare themselves for long, complex debates, but never practice the small, practical interactions they actually face every day.
So, real-world English is much more practical and straightforward than people expect?
Exactly. Most daily city conversations aren't complicated at all. They're quick, natural, and highly focused on solving a small problem or creating a brief connection.
I think learners often hold back because they expect everyone in a big city to speak incredibly fast.
Sometimes they do, especially in the hustle and bustle of a busy city. But something really interesting happens when people notice you're a learner.
Oh yeah? What usually happens?
Most people naturally slow down a bit. They instinctively choose simpler words, repeat important details, and genuinely try to help the conversation succeed.
That is so reassuring to hear, because I think many learners just assume that native speakers will become impatient with them.
In my experience, the opposite is usually true. Most people truly appreciate that you're making the effort to speak their language, and they are more than happy to help you out.
So we really shouldn't be afraid to step out of our comfort zone and start these conversations.
Not at all. Every single one of these interactions is a golden opportunity to practice in the real world.
And where do these conversations usually begin?
Honestly, almost anywhere. You might be standing in line at a busy café, waiting for the subway on a crowded platform, or simply waiting for the traffic light to change at a crosswalk.
That's really interesting because none of those situations seem particularly special or dramatic. Let's imagine we're walking through a big city for the very first time. What's one of the first interactions we'll probably experience?
Usually very short, everyday questions. For example, instead of overthinking the grammar, you can just use quick, natural chunks like, "Are you in line?" when you're not sure where the queue ends, or "Is anyone sitting here?" at a crowded cafe. If you're checking a shop window, a simple, "What time do you close?" is all you need.
They are super short phrases, but they solve the problem instantly.
You got it. Sometimes these interactions only last 20 or 30 seconds, but they still count as a massive win for your English.
I think learners completely underestimate those tiny, everyday conversations. Hearing this makes city English feel so much less intimidating than people usually imagine.
That's exactly what I hope our listeners realize today. Cities aren't trying to test your English grammar. They are simply giving you endless opportunities to use it.
And those opportunities are truly everywhere. Liam, we've talked about how cities are absolutely full of opportunities to practice English, but I think many learners still actively avoid talking to strangers. Why do you think that is?
Honestly, most of them aren't actually afraid of the conversation itself. They're just terrified of making a grammar mistake or bothering someone who looks busy.
I think that's exactly how many people feel. They don't want to feel like a nuisance.
But the interesting thing is that asking for help is a totally normal, everyday part of city life. You can just use quick, natural chunks like, where is the nearest station? Or, is there a good place to eat around here? Or, is this the right stop for downtown?
I love how practical those are. It really shows you don't need a massive vocabulary, just the right phrases to get moving in the right direction.
Exactly. And every single successful interaction gives you a little more confidence for the next one.
The interesting thing is that asking for help is a totally normal part of city life, and we often completely forget that. Now, let's put this into practice. Imagine I'm completely turned around and need to find the nearest subway station. How can I approach a total stranger without feeling awkward?
Keep it super simple and polite. To start with a friendly, "Excuse me," to get their attention, and then go straight to the point. You can ask, "Where's the nearest subway station?" Or, "How do I get to the train station from here?" Most people will immediately point you in the right direction, and you're good to go.
That sounds so easy when you put it that way. But what if they reply with a super fast explanation or a bunch of street names I don't know?
That is a classic fear, but here's the secret. You don't need to understand every single word they say. Just listen for the key words and watch their hand gestures. They'll usually point and say simple things like straight ahead, turn right, or next to the big building.
Ah, so I should focus more on their body language and those main direction words. But what if they keep talking really fast and I'm still completely lost?
That's when you use your ultimate safety net phrase. You just smile and say, "Sorry, could you speak a little more slowly, please?" Or even simpler, "Sorry, I didn't catch that. One more time, please?" People are almost always happy to slow down when you ask nicely.
Even in big cities where everyone seems busy?
Absolutely. Big cities move fast, but that doesn't mean people aren't willing to help.
I think many learners confuse busy with unfriendly.
That's a common misunderstanding. Someone may only have 30 seconds, but they'll still stop to answer a simple question. Speak clearly, smile, and ask your question. Most people care much more about understanding you than judging your English.
That takes away a lot of pressure. Oh, ordering food is a huge one. I know so many learners who study the entire menu online before going in, just because they're terrified of the interaction at the counter.
Right. They prepare for a full conversation when all you really need is one simple, reliable pattern. You don't need to say, "I would like to purchase a coffee, please."
One latte is so much shorter and sounds way more natural. What happens if the barista asks a follow-up question, like about milk or sizes, and it catches me off guard?
Keep your answers to 1 or 2 words. If they ask, "Whole milk" or "oat milk," you just say, "Oat milk, please."
That makes so much sense. It's all about speed and efficiency in the city. What about when it's time to pay? That's another moment where numbers can get confusing if they say the total too fast.
If you miss the number, don't panic. Just look at the screen on the card reader or the cash register. The total is almost always displayed right there. And when you hand over your card, you don't even need to say anything complex. A simple, "On card, please," is perfect.
I love that. It turns a stressful situation into a quick, predictable routine. It feels like navigating a city in English is really just about mastering these tiny, repetitive blocks of speech.
That's the absolute truth. Whether you're buying a subway ticket, ordering a sandwich, or asking for directions, it's the same pattern: a polite opener, a short phrase, and a simple thank you. Once you nail those 3 steps, the whole city opens up to you.
Liam, we've talked about asking for help, handling quick interactions, and listening to real conversations. It literally feels like we've spent an entire day walking through the city. But earlier, you promised to share one simple habit that could improve our English every single time we go out. What is it?
I'm so glad you remembered. because this is probably the easiest habit we've talked about today. It takes less than 5 minutes, and if you do it consistently, you'll start noticing real progress without adding a single minute of extra study time to your day.
I love the sound of that because I think many learners always expect something much more complicated.
That's exactly why most people never try it. They believe improving their English always requires long, grueling study sessions, when in reality, small daily habits often produce much better results.
So, what exactly should we do the next time we spend a day out in the city?
Before you go home, just take a moment to think about all the English you heard or used during the day. Don't try to recall every single conversation. Instead, choose just one expression that sounded super useful and natural to you.
I really like that because it doesn't feel overwhelming at all. We're focusing on quality instead of quantity.
Exactly. Most learners try to memorize dozens of new expressions at once, but a few days later, they can barely remember any of them. It's much more effective to master one expression that you'll actually use than 20 you'll quickly forget.
Once we've chosen that one special expression, what's the next step?
Just say it out loud a few times and think about a real-life scenario where you could naturally drop it into a conversation. The goal isn't simply to recognize the expression when someone else says it. The goal is to make it a natural part of the way you speak.
So we're immediately connecting what we hear out in the streets with an actual conversation we might have in the future?
That's exactly right. The faster you practice using a new expression, the more naturally your brain locks it in. That's why real-world surroundings are such powerful teachers.
I think that's one of the main reasons people understand so much English when they watch videos or listen to us, but still struggle to speak confidently the moment they step outside.
I completely agree. Understanding English is only the first step. True confidence only grows when you begin using what you've learned in real-world situations, even if those conversations last 30 seconds.
It really sounds like every single walk through the city can become another perfect opportunity to improve.
That's exactly how I want our listeners to see it. Every cafe, every bookstore, every subway station, and every grocery store becomes a living classroom where you can catch useful English that people actually use every day.
Before we finish up today, could you leave everyone with one final piece of advice?
Of course. Don't wait until you think your English is flawless before exploring a new city. Get out there, visit new places, start simple conversations, and give yourself permission to make mistakes along the way.
I think that is the absolute perfect takeaway.
Just keep showing up, keep talking to people, and keep collecting real English from the world around you. That is exactly how confident speakers are made.
I think that's the perfect way to end today's lesson. Before you go, we would love to hear from you down in the comments. If you could travel to any World Cup host city tomorrow, where would you go first? And what's the very first place you'd want to visit? Leave your answers below because we'd love to read all about your travel plans.
And if you enjoyed today's lesson, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel.
Yes, if today's lesson showed you how to communicate naturally in the city, our next one will prepare you for real travel conversations from the airport all the way to the stadium gates, so you can speak confidently wherever your journey takes you.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Keep exploring, keep speaking, and keep enjoying every opportunity to use your English.
We'll see you in the next lesson.
Bye.
Bye.